Okay, Carrie, I think, yes, we are live. Hey
I think
guys,
we're
happy
live.
Tuesday. Carrie, glad you're here.
I'm glad to
So
be here.
this is gonna be, y'all are gonna hate me for this, but you're gonna thank me for this. We're about to save you a lot of money in your tax bill. Wherever you are in the world, taxes are real. And Carrie is a business manager and a bookkeeper and an accountant. All that stuff is Carrie's world. And she actually helps people like you and me make sense of all the crap. And 2020 has been crazy enough. If you've made a ton of money or struggled, either way, there is so much you
Either
can
way.
do to keep more of whatever money you got left in your pocket come tax season. So I know no one likes talking about this. This is like going to the dentist, but Carrie's the coolest dentist you'll ever meet
Thank
when
you.
it comes to tax and accounting professionals. She makes this fun, but you need to go ahead and ask questions. We need to get our brain around this. And Carrie, anyway, super grateful that you're here. Thanks.
I'm happy to be here. I'm grateful that you reached out.
So let's do this. Tell me a little bit about like where are you calling from? A little bit about your business. By the way, we'll put Carrie's links and stuff in here so y'all can reach out and ask her questions. She's been nice enough to let us like say you can message her or whatever, and
Oh yeah.
she'll answer questions. She also has a Facebook group that talks about a lot of this stuff to answer questions on a couple times a week. She just does Q&A in there. So Carrie, awesome. Tell us where you're from, and then let's start getting into some practical brass tacks of like what we can do now, what we should be thinking through to make sure we do the right stuff over the next few weeks to save some money on our tax bill next year.
Okay. I'm Carrie Donatelli. I'm in from Denver, and it is a cloudy, cold day in Denver. Um, I own Peak Business Group, and my business is making your business run better.
Mm.
So I do operational and management services, including but not limited to bookkeeping. I'm getting into financial coaching. I'm a profit first professional. I'm super excited to. I feel like my life calling is coaching and helping people.
Mm-hmm.
And so many people want to avoid their finances, and I've been there myself, but it is not that's not what we need to do. So I'm here to be more relatable and approachable because it's kind of like, and Chris, you can censor me if you want. It's kind of like opening up your underpants drawer and letting some stranger look in there because finances are personal, even when they're your business finances.
Mm-hmm.
So I build relationships with my clients and prospective clients. I am a person just like everybody else, and I want to help. At the end of the day, that's my goal, is to help you understand what's going on in your business, help you have a handle on your finances,
Mm-hmm.
because like even my clients are like, I have no idea, and I'm like, well, why? I'm here for you. Why wouldn't you have an idea? So that's the barrier that I'm working with everybody to overcome.
Yeah.
um, don't avoid it, stop avoiding it. So for tax time and
By the way, hey CN, hey William, here it's several of you following it. Thanks. It's great to see everybody. And ask your questions
yes,
if you got them. You can say you have a friend who has this financial situation and
yes,
what they,
asking
yeah,
for a friend, I
yeah,
ask for
go ask
friends
for
all the
friends
time,
today.
so I am with y'all.
Carrie, if you
um
can, like, start out by just helping us understand, like, we got what 3, 4 weeks left in this year.
yeah.
December 1, there we go, perfect day for this. And by the way, we're gonna have you
Whee!
back, Carrie, if you'll let us. We'll have you back
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
January, February-ish.
Mm-hmm.
I know in Canada their tax day is like I think the 30th of April. Ours here in the US is the 15th. We've got tons of people from around the world, but a lot of tax days are kind of that first into the first quarter in most countries. So
Right.
um, I think in Canada, actually, it's like your business taxes are due. You like pick your due date. It happens once a year, but you get to pick when it happens. You get to set up when you set up your business. It's like really cool. Personal though is
That's
on.
interesting.
It is. Isn't it now? Yeah, right. Hey, so okay. So in a second, Carrie, just start loading us up with what are we going to do to be ready. But Cian says, how long does it take to get an LLC done? Is there time to do it this year? And another follow up to that would be, would it be a benefit to do it this year, or do you need to have the LLC done early? I don't. How does that work? Do you know, Carrie?
Well, what do you mean done? Is it filing for your LLC, your business name? Is it um
I think she means starting it. Like she doesn't have an LLC
Starting
now, or her
it
friend doesn't.
is, there's always time to start an LLC. It
Okay.
takes, and I'm not sure where you are, CN, but in Colorado, it's very simple. It's just filing your business name with the Secretary of State, and I believe it's similar in all states. You pay a fee, you file for your name, and then you can file that now and be ready to go come January 1st if you want to technically and really start doing your business in the first quarter of 2021. If you've already been doing business and you just haven't filed for the LLC, that's fine too. You can you can you can file your taxes as an individual. I would suggest if
She's
you
in
want to,
Texas, by the way. In
you're in
Texas.
Texas.
Yeah.
Happy to have you here. Um, I don't know the laws in Texas, but it should be a similar process. So you go to the Secretary of State, you search for the business name that you want. If there's another business, you have to search for a business name and make sure that there aren't any others doing business with that name. And then you file for your business, your LLC, you pay a fee. You don't necessarily have to pay taxes as your business this year, but I would recommend starting 2021 ready to rock and get that LLC filed now. It takes like half an hour usually. It's very simple, straightforward. Then you should immediately get an EIN. So you have that document, you print it out. They'll send you a formal document, a certificate in the mail. But then you're ready to go in January.
And your
But
EIN, if you don't know, is basically the social security number for your business, if you want to call it that.
yes,
It's the
exactly.
identification of your.
Sorry, Chris, I skipped ahead a couple steps.
No, it's good. Yeah.
Yeah. So you need that for your business to do business. Everybody needs an EIN unless you're just going to be like a contractor for anybody, and then you can use your social if you want to. But I feel like there's definite benefit in filing for that LLC name and getting your EIN. So I would totally do that now. I don't know that I would recommend filing taxes as a business for 2020. I think you'd have a lot of backpedaling to do to get ready for that if you're just doing your LLC now. So get it done and get ready, and you'll be ready to dance in January.
Yeah, that way you can start the bookkeeping and accounting, keeping it all
Start it
separate
all at
January
the
1.
same time in quarter one. It's never a better time to start a business.
Yeah, so true.
So,
One thought there that comes up for me, CN, is we're an LLC. My agencies are LLCs, and ultimately an LLC in the States and in most of the 50 United States, I think it's the same way. They're ultimately pass-through entities. So the income you make in your LLC is going to end up showing up just like your personal income. It's not going to change how much you pay in taxes. It's going to keep you organized, and it's really a liability game. So if a client sued you for some reason or something like that, they get to sue the LLC first, and then you should have
exactly.
some malpractice insurance in there as well.
And
For
liability
errors and
insurance,
omissions.
depending on your business, you need
Yeah,
insurance to cover
errors
you.
and omissions, that kind of stuff. Yeah, because if the LLC gets sued, it needs to have a funding mechanism, or the attorneys will pass right to the LLC and they'll come after you. So you kind of want to have an insurance company. It's worth a little bit extra cash for that. Would you agree?
And it's usually not a lot. It's usually not a lot for business insurance. Depends on your state. Okay.
Yeah, it depends to be. Yes,
Yes.
yeah, it's really quick, and you can hire an attorney for a couple $100 to knock out an LLC really simply, or you could. I hate to use LegalZoom, but I mean, it's really simple. Of all the
So
things
many
you
people
can do,
use
it's so.
LegalZoom. I did mine myself, but I have the know-how in the background to be able to do that.
Yeah.
I've helped other people do it. I've done S corps and LLCs.
Well,
But
call
Chris
Carrie.
is,
Yeah, see, and
yeah, call me. I mean,
yeah.
I can help. I can help guide
Yeah.
you. Chris is 100% correct in the fact that LLCs are a pass-through on taxes, and it's not necessarily going to save or cost you any additional tax either way. But the organization is super, super important when you come to businesses and taxes and deductions and all of that. So
Yes.
go ahead. I would recommend 100% go ahead and do that. Get ready, get it set up so that you're prepared to start keeping your books and everything for next year.
Absolutely. And by the way, that last comment was from Brennan Hammonds. Brennan's one of our coaches here at Lead Agency. He's a fantastic guy. Also, he's been nice enough to be one of our coaches here. at a lead agency. He's a tremendous guy. I'm so grateful to have him hanging around. He's just been a great friend, and honestly, he's one of those guys you get to work with. You're like, this guy knows so much more than I do. Uh, so anyway, Brandon,
That's who
thanks
you
for
want to pair with, people
yeah.
who know
I know
more than you do
every
about
now and then
things.
you get lucky and you find somebody like Brennan who's willing to
Yeah.
donate a little bit of time to help people in this community out. He's just been really great. So Cian says, thank you, Carrie.
You're
Okay, so Carrie,
welcome, Cian.
what else can we do? So year end stuff
Okay.
coming up. Like
Yeah.
we got a pile of receipts in a shoebox. Do we what's deductible? What's not? What do we care about? What do we throw out? Should I go buy a new laptop right now? I mean, what do you do, you know?
Well, not everything is deductible, but if it is a business expense, you definitely want to track it.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you have an LLC, I use QuickBooks Online for all of my clients, and that is, I think, an amazing way to do. You get the full strength of Intuit QuickBooks. If you are doing an MLM or you're contracting, you would probably lean towards self-employed, QuickBooks self-employed.
Mm-hmm.
And that has a feature where you can just take a picture of your receipts and scan them into the system and it classifies them. And that's, I recommend QuickBooks products, and I'm not being paid for this, but
Yeah.
it really helps keep everything organized. And as far as deductions go, I am not a CPA. I will preface this with that. I do have close to 15 years experience in bookkeeping and finances, both AR and AP, and I do my own taxes and taxes for other people as well.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, the biggest thing that I think I could advise people on for deductions are organizing your meal receipts. A lot of businesses do client meetings and they do a meal. Those are deductible to a point, and there's this ominous classification within QuickBooks or any bookkeeping software called meals and entertainment, and so many people use this. I worked for a buddy of mine and helped him start his business. And he wanted to classify like cruises on Disney as meals and entertainment. And I'm like, this is no bueno. We cannot do this. No, 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 no. I can't stand for this.
Yeah.
So
Brennan just dropped a note. Don't mix your personal expenses with your company expenses
exactly right.
to
Keep it
protect your.
separate from
Yeah.
the start. If there's one thing I can advise everybody on, and I've had so many of my clients have everything kind of mishmashed and they just want to classify their personal stuff as personal. And I'm like, this is a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
So my advice is to get a handle. If you do things like client meals, or if you buy donuts for the office or bagels or breakfast for meetings or whatever it is, meals, if there's an entertainment component to it, it is zero deductible. You cannot deduct anything that has an entertainment component to it. If you are buying food and it is for business purposes and you are included in that purpose, you can deduct it half. It's 50% deductible. If you are traveling for your business, travel meals are 100% deductible.
Hmm.
So you have to be the one that benefits from the meal. There can be no entertainment component to it. So don't go to a casino and order up drinks on the house or on you and think that that's going to be okay, because it's never going to be okay. That's a huge red flag. So those are the three things for those kinds of, and some people have Christmas parties, holiday events and functions. You buy client gifts. There is a classification for client gifts, and I'm not sure exactly what percentage that is deductible, but the biggest thing I'm seeing is meals and entertainment. We need to know what that means, and the entertainment piece can't come into it.
I believe client gifts are 100% deductible. We
Or
spend a
are they?
lot for our agency, our Done For You agency client gifts every year. And I think those are 100%. But
Okay, that's great.
yeah, what about like equipment, stuff like that? Like new laptop, new phone. If you're on the fence and going to get one anyway, should we go ahead and do that this year, or does it matter?
Um, if you've had a lot of office expense already, I would say yes. I mean, it will increase your deductions, things, office equipment, computers, printers. If you're an engineering firm and you do 3D printing, it would benefit you to buy that stuff now. I
Mm-hmm.
know businesses who run fleets will buy trucks for their fleet at the end of the year if they have extra cash. I want to preface this advice with I'm not 100% on board with spending money to save money.
Yeah, it's still
But you
spending
have
money.
to be strategic about it. In a business, you should be strategic, and there's certain planning that you can do at the beginning of the year to
Mhm.
benefit your tax situation. And I always am a proponent for saving for taxes from day one of the year, because you don't want to offload a ton of cash at the end of the year. I mean,
Mhm.
if your business is making money like that, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So paying taxes is just what we have to do in this country.
But even if it's a deductible expense, let's think
Hmm.
about this, folks. So if it's let's say you're going to buy yourself a new MacBook Pro, like I've got sitting right here in front of me, it's a new one, and you're going to spend $3,000 on a MacBook
Hmm.
Pro. It's still $3,000 out of your pocket, and it means
Bless you.
it might not. I know Carrie's got a first grader at
I've
home, like
got.
we all do.
Oh, please.
Yeah,
Bless
do your
you.
thing. So while Carrie's doing
Okay.
that,
Hang out.
if
I'll be right
you're
there.
if you're now you do your thing, Carrie. We're all in this together right now.
Yeah, right. It's so weird.
So, and Carrie's usually in this really cool studio space, the
Yeah,
nice,
I've got this
yeah.
awesome background, and
So you
today we're
got
out
kicked
on my
down the porch.
patio.
The so you go spend $3,000 on a fancy new MacBook Pro, yeah, but you're still spending $3,000. So
Hmm.
make sure it's right for your cash flow. Yeah, that
Exactly.
$3,000 isn't going to show up on your personal tax return because your business spent it.
Hmm.
So in theory, you save the taxes you would have paid on the
Hmm.
$3,000. So let's just make this up. Let's say that's $1,000 of taxes you saved. So you came out a little ahead, but you had to spend $3,000 to save a
A
thousand. So
thousand.
yeah, if you burned about a laptop in January, then sure, go ahead and buy it in December. Why
Yeah.
not? But don't go max out your credit card thinking
Exactly.
you're really ripping off the IRS because you're just not.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen businesses with fleets. I'm using the fleet as because trucks are a big expense. If you have
Yeah,
$100,000 in your bank account, you don't want to spend 50 of that on a new truck just to avoid paying taxes on that, because at the beginning of January, you're still going to have payroll to run. You're still going
yeah.
to have those overhead expenses that you have to plan for. And you
Hmm.
don't want to spend all the cash to save on taxes and then be like, how the hell am I going to pay payroll? How am I going to pay for my office rent and all of this? So
Yeah,
these are things that I am helping clients with now. It's planning. And it's, if
hmm,
you plan well, it's not an issue. You don't have to worry about it. And that is what my goal in life is to help people not worry so much, because it's
yep.
terrible to live life that way.
So, CN has a question here, and then
Oh,
I have one or two other comments too. Uh, okay, we have to depreciate a new laptop over several years.
you
Good question.
can.
You can, or you don't have to.
You
It's up
don't
to you.
have to. You never have to depreciate anything. And I wouldn't, if your asset is less than like $5,000, I don't think it's worth the time to depreciate it. Yes.
Yeah. So, CN, you can
Okay.
depreciate things like immediately the same year for most of that kind of equipment,
Yep.
electronics. Um, but if you have
Higher ticket items and like materials or equipment that you use to make your whatever you sell, if you would depreciate vehicles, you would depreciate like a 3D printer that's $5,000 or something. You'd
Mhm.
probably want to depreciate anything like that that's going to last. A laptop, and sadly so, I mean, a laptop isn't going to last forever. And I wouldn't even,
Yeah,
just me, it's totally a personal choice, but I wouldn't depreciate a laptop.
yeah, I don't personally, but
Mm-mm.
okay. So I'm going to go step back one piece just to stay organized with our personal versus business expenses.
Yes.
Karen, you do your thing there. We know you got kids around. You got, if you need to do your thing, you can.
No, I'm inside. She can see me. Everything's
Okay,
good.
okay, good. So I have this is super simple, guys. If you don't, I hate keeping up with receipts, and I'm really bad at it. Okay, so doing something is better than nothing. So I have
Yes.
a business and a personal debit card, and a business and a personal credit card. All right. And it's just super simple like that. So anytime I have a business expense, it goes in the business credit card. If I have a personal expense, it goes in the personal credit card. If you want to use a debit card, fine. Bottom line is just keep those two separate. That way you have two different online statements and you can match them up. And then if Brennan's still watching, he'll attest to this too. most of us who've been in business for any length of time at all have realized that we've wasted more money by not having a bookkeeper and an accountant than we have by trying to do it ourselves one day a month or whatever. For one,
Usually it ends up being more than one day a
oh,
month if you're doing
I
it
know.
yourself. And then, I mean, I've seen people have to delete everything and then re-download it or relink everything. It's a nightmare.
Yes.
So you
Even if you
want
think you're
somebody who
saving,
knows.
yeah, even
Yeah.
if you think you're saving a few $100 here or there, think of the opportunity cost. You and I, everybody in this program, everybody's watching, you can make more money in a day prospecting and selling than you will ever spend on someone helping you manage that process for you. Just hand it off. Let
Yes.
them build your invoices and take care of your receipts and categorize it. And if you're like me, Carrie, I know you're like me on this. We got a Stripe account, a PayPal account,
Hmm.
multiple bank accounts, multiple credit card accounts. You got lines of credit coming in and going. You got all this stuff. Like, what the heck? You got to have it organized right. And it's just worth having somebody else do it.
Yeah. And it totally is. And I think the recommendation these days in my area of expertise is that companies generally, successful companies who are making money, I've lost for words. It's about 2% of your top level gross annual revenue is
Huh.
what is recommended that you spend for a bookkeeper. Just books. It's not a CPA. It's not your taxes. It's
Mm-hmm.
keeping your books in line every month so that you aren't backpedaling at the end of the year, at the beginning of the year,
Yeah.
because I see it every year. People come to me in January and they're like, "Oh, I haven't kept my books for an entire year." And I'm like, "Okay, well this is going to you're going to end up paying more if you
Mm-hmm.
do that. You'll, instead of maintaining, you're going to ask somebody to come in fresh and learn everything and do it quick, and it's going to cost a lot more."
Brennan says, LOL, one mistake cost me over 30K early on in my
Yes.
business. Find someone for
Yes,
real.
agreed. It's
Brennan's right.
so, and it just makes you more stressed, and it's
Mm-hmm.
more gray hair, it's more wrinkles, it's more stress, it's all of the things, and that's my passion, is to help kind of alleviate that.
Yep. I so love you for that, Carrie. Like,
Mm,
oh my gosh. Most of us who are in, particularly in this community right here, most of us are marketers. We're selling, we're
hmm.
creatives, and we're just really not super awesome at deadlines and details.
Yeah, and
And
nobody wants, I mean, unless you started your business as a bookkeeper, you don't want to do that. You want to
right.
be creative, you want to sell, and I am with you. And it's the intrinsic value in this business for me, helping people, and words of affirmation are my love language. It's like, and so my clients love me because I take that off their plate and they don't have to worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm doing coaching. I can also help to understand the P&L, help understand what the balance sheet means.
Yeah.
Why isn't my owner's pay on the P&L? It's an equity account. It's
Yeah.
not an expense.
Yes. Yeah. If you got questions about this, obviously, reach out to Carrie for
Yeah,
sure.
we don't want to go into all the things
Yeah.
right here, but
Private message Carrie, or also she's got a free Facebook group that just does Q&A about all this kind of business management
yeah,
stuff. That's the place.
we're in this together, and that's kind of what my group is all about, is sharing ideas. And I'm going to be building some masterminds as well. So
Mhm.
I'm super excited about all the things that are happening in 2021.
Aren't we all? Let's turn the
Yes, let's
page.
focus on the positive
I
and
know.
not
Oh my
all of
gosh.
the
I want to go into 2020.
blackness.
Hey, I just looked up, you mentioned QuickBooks a second ago. So guys, I just jumped on the QuickBooks website, and I'm looking at the pricing right now. In fact, I'll just drop the screen right there. It's super easy. Um, let's see here. I think y'all can see that. So there's the pricing for QuickBooks. It's super easy. I use QuickBooks as well in our agency, and I have a bookkeeper that's virtual, just like Carrie, and it allows me to, I don't know what our plan is per month. I think we have a pretty advanced plan. So I think we pay like 70 or $80 a month. But
For payroll and everything, you get
all that stuff, yeah.
all the stuff.
But if you're just getting started, you can literally start this thing for like $8. And again, there's no link here. We don't get a commission for this. I'm
Mm-mm.
just shooting it out there.
One thing I will add though about pricing is that if you work with a bookkeeper or you message me and you want to, this pricing is really good. Your bookkeeper, if they're a QuickBooks accountant, they can offer, and some people don't. I might get in trouble with other bookkeepers, but I offer my clients wholesale pricing on the software. So
Cool.
if they come to me and they already had their system set up, it's fine. We can run with it. They add me as their accountant. It's seamless. But if they come to me and I help them set it up, or if they want to transfer their billing to me, I get billed for it. I can pay a wholesale price and I just pass that on in their billing. So
Brilliant.
it's usually about half what the quoted prices are on the
I
website.
love that. See, that's
Yeah.
helpful right
It's
there.
another savings. And it's some one more thing, I get billed for it. I pass it on. I don't even mark it up. So I
Hmm.
just pass it on as a convenience.
All right, before I say this next thing, let me just say, you have all heard me say this a million times when I have guests on here. I don't do commissions. I don't do affiliates. I
Yeah.
don't do any shared revenue, nothing. I get nothing for recommending Carrie or anybody else that you've seen live in our group ever before. All right. That being said, I just freaking believe in having a bookkeeper because we talk a lot in this group about prospecting and selling. We talk a lot about having a real life. Carrie's got a first grader hanging around our house right now.
Right here. I'm
Yeah, look
being
at that.
super vulnerable with y'all. Here's my
I
turn
love
around,
it.
say hi.
On the yoga mat. Perfect.
Yeah, we do
So
yoga.
we want to have time for life and we want to have time to prospect and sell and market and be a leader and be the visionary for our companies. You don't need to be a bookkeeper. That will slow you down. Let somebody whose native skill set, who has an agency, who has a process built around that, do it for you. And again, I get nothing out of this, but somebody like Carrie, Carrie's a great example of this. Lean in on Carrie and her group. She's got a great process. If you don't want to talk to Carrie, talk to someone.
Talk to somebody. I'm not
Yeah,
here to sell my business. I'm here to offer value to you guys.
yeah.
I am here. Chris and I are buddies. I don't, he's not getting anything. I'm not getting anything for recommending QuickBooks. It's just
Mhm.
a tool that I believe is worth the money to keep your business organized.
And let somebody
And
else set it up for you.
let
Like
somebody else do it.
it takes so
It
much
doesn't have to
time.
be me, but I am happy, more than happy to advise. I am literally available to my clients for as much or as little as they need. That
Hmm.
I give them the freedom. They can set it up themselves. They can
Hmm.
maintain it themselves. But
Yeah.
I can do that too. So,
Yep. All right, let's talk about just real quick. Pivoting like the day of the end of the year.
mhm.
Um, there's some things we can do, like, and you got to be help me out with this, Carrie. I don't want to be like manipulative towards
Mhm.
team or staff. Our payroll cycle in our company runs. We pay out on the first and we pay out on the 16th. So we
Mhm.
accrue hours for 15 days and then we pay out. I don't pay my people on the 31st of December every year just so I can offload that off my books and put it on
Exactly.
their book. That's kind of dirty. But
It is.
but if there's anything that you're doing, if you've got a subcontractor that's doing some jobs for you, building out a website for you or a client, if you're white labeling somebody else's stuff, just think through everything you're doing in your business and how the money flows on a monthly basis and look back for a few months while you're thinking about December and just be aware if there's stuff that keeps rolling and it's right on that cusp of the year, go ahead and deal with it. If you've had the one exception to that, I would say if you've had a really, really rough year and you don't think you're going to be paying taxes at all, then you might want to save that expense for January 1 or 2. If you've had a good year or an average year and you do want to cut out some taxes, then look for things that you can just, if you're going to spend them anyway in the first few weeks of January, get them in. Just get it done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't look for things to buy.
No, no.
It's
Just look
not
for
about
normal
that.
expenses that are
I've
coming up.
I've seen businesses do it. I worked for a federally funded nonprofit for a while, and at the end of the year they were always like, "Oh my god, we had 100 grand budgeted. Let's buy cars. Let's do this." And I'm like, "Oh, this is a nightmare." And it's a red flag when the IRS looks at that and they see you've spent like 3 times your monthly expenditures in the last month of the year. They're going to be like,
Mm-hmm.
they know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody knows. So yes, Chris is exactly right. If there's an expense that you know you need it anyway, You were
Mm-hmm.
going to buy it in January and you have the extra cash. As long as it's planned and you have the money to spend on your normal expenses for the next month, it's great. Do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One other thing to be careful of, I know people often put their travel, and we'll wrap it up, Carrie. I know you got to go in a second. If anybody's got any more questions, let us know because we're
Yeah,
going to wrap
sure.
it
I'm
up.
here.
But one other thing I see people do frequently is they're traveling for personal reasons, like around the holidays. If you're traveling, wash your hands, wear your mask, be safe, all that kind of stuff. But just because you've got a client or a rental property or a something in the state where your family is, if you take 2 weeks and travel over there, you can't write the whole trip off, and all your kids' flights aren't free,
Mm-mm.
and it doesn't work that way. So
No,
those things are huge red flags for auditors, and you so don't want an audit.
you do
Um,
not want an audit.
so
Your
just
bookkeeper doesn't want an audit.
yeah, bottom line is we all want to save taxes, but be honest. Like
Yes,
be honest and ethical. If you were the IRS, how would you look at it? If you kind of think it through that way, that'll keep you out of 90% of the trouble.
exactly.
And it's just simply not worth saving a few bucks to, I mean, you get an audit. Whoa, Carrie, that's so expensive. The
Yes.
CPA time and just your own time. Oh my gosh.
I had a client come to me and she hadn't done her taxes in 4 years.
Oh no.
And so we had to catch up. And then she was having questions and being audited. And she's like, well, do you have insurance? Because this, and I'm like, no, that's not how this works. You answer all the questions. You help me classify. This is on you, not me.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be that shady character and you don't want that for your business. Just be straight up. Um, be
Mm-hmm.
honest is the best way to do it. I'm a golden rule kind of girl, and it sounds really cheesy sometimes, but you wouldn't want to be cheated.
No.
Don't cheat.
Yeah. You know,
So,
before the pandemic, my CPA told me that the IRS was just under 3 years behind before pandemic, just under 3 years behind actually opening the tax returns and going through them.
mm-hmm.
They're that far behind. Now the pandemic's hit, I've heard they're like
It's gonna be
4.5,
worse.
5 years
Yeah.
behind. Yeah. So just because if any of us have made a decision where we think, well, I did it last year and nothing happened. I did it for 2 years, nothing happened. And I'm kind of cheating the system a little bit. I think I got this. They haven't opened your return yet. People get audited typically for things that happened 3 to 4 years ago.
Yep.
So don't get lax and comfortable. Be honest and be smart where you plan things at the end of the year.
Document.
Document.
Documentation is everything, because if you do get audited, they're going to be asking you questions about things that were 2 or 3 or 4 years ago. I don't remember what happened 2 or 3 or 4 years ago. My life's busy. Yours are too.
Mm-hmm.
So document to just keep yourself in good order. Let somebody help you.
Yeah.
It's worth it. It's so
Yeah,
worth it.
it really is. Okay, so we'll wrap it up here. If there's any more questions, fire them away. If you catch
Yeah.
it in a second, we'll be there. But Carrie, thank you. And what we're going to do in like first part of the year, first quarter, if you can come back on and kind of just help us think through how to be organized, tools that you're going to use. By the way, I have a question on apps for a second in a minute, like
Mm-hmm.
accounting apps. I hear besides QuickBooks, I hear all these other little apps you can just use. But anyway, first quarter, we'll have you back in here just to help us get
Mm-hmm.
organized and think through the 2021 year and getting even more ahead of that
Yeah.
while that current bill is staring us in the face. So back to apps, though, I can't think of all. I think Zero is one of them.
I use Mileage IQ
Okay.
if you track mileage and deduct that, because I'm totally mobile. I go to my clients' businesses to do meetings. We meet at coffee shops. I drive a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So it's worth it for me to use a mileage tracking app, and you can enter all of those as expenses in QuickBooks. Um, Other accounting apps.
Accounting apps. I think I've got a thought on that. Everybody I know who's in your business role, Carrie, who does it professionally,
Mm-hmm.
uses QuickBooks. Everybody uses QuickBooks.
Yeah.
So there might
Mm-hmm.
be like a little accounting app that makes it super easy for the small business owner to record their receipts and keep up with their bank account and blah, blah, blah. But ultimately, your accountant is going to be like, look, why aren't you using QuickBooks? And QuickBooks
Yeah.
has some pretty slick apps that do most of that anyway.
Yeah.
So
They
it's
have add-ons and like apps you can hook your
mhm,
QuickBooks into Square or PayPal or your client management. I use Dubsado for client management, and I know a lot. It's built for creatives, I think, and I'm not really a creative, but I love it.
yeah,
So it has QuickBooks does have add-ons that will link with all of these different apps. It makes things
mhm,
so much easier and more streamlined.
yeah, it does. Yeah, for sure. All right, Carrie. Thank you for hanging
Thank
out with
you.
us during homeschool time.
This is kind of, and it's homeschooling on cocaine because they've my 6-year-old has like 4 Zoom meetings every day, and she's like, "Mom, no, wait, I have a Zoom meeting," and I'm like, "Are you kidding
So were
me?"
y'all in school and had to come back out, or or
Yeah,
you were
we
home
were
the whole
in
time?
school and they canceled it in Colorado, I think pretty much statewide, for remote learning. We had the choice to do remote or in school, and I just think social interaction is so important for the really little kids.
Yeah.
So they canceled school starting yesterday. I mean, we had the week off for Thanksgiving, and now we're homeschooling until hopefully after the holidays. So beginning
Mm,
of January, we're hoping to get everything kind of back to some semblance of normalcy.
yeah. Cian, you're welcome. Awesome to have you here, Cian.
Yes, thank you, Cian.
And Carrie, you're just the best. Thanks for, folks, I'm not knocking anybody else's in the
No,
bookkeeping,
everybody's we're all
business
in this together.
automation, business operations space like Carrie is. Carrie does so much more than just bookkeeping too, but it's rare to find someone who's in the accounting, bookkeeping, and operations space who has a really fun, bright personality. So Carrie, thanks for
It's my thing, y'all. I like people
you
and
do.
I do
I'm really glad
numbers.
too. You make it relatable. Anyway, okay, kids. Y'all have a fantastic
Have a
Tuesday.
great day, everybody.
Thanks again. All right, bye, guys.